welcome to Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Yasir Drabu. Yasir, it's great to connect with you, founder and CEO of Taazaa. You lead hundreds of passionate engineers in building advanced software solutions for healthcare, finance, e-commerce, many other industries. Lots of experience, and looking forward to diving in with you. If you go over to the website, taazaa.com, Taazaa.com, you'll see that it says a different kind of custom software development company. I think in a world today where everybody is looking to differentiate themselves, what makes you different?
I think it starts with the willingness to fail fast and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Which when you work with traditionally speaking, we would be considered your outsourced partner or your external contractors. But when you work with somebody like us, we are not afraid to fail fast with you and learn quickly and have the right mindset, especially when you're innovating. It's very hard to come down to here's the spec, go build it. We are basically discovering customer pain points and iterating on ideas very quickly. So that's a marked differentiation, and we're not afraid to try really cutting edge technologies, which may still be in early beta or early release for customers. If it has value, again, it has to be driven by some sort of business value, not just for the sake of trying something new on the technology side. So those are some of the initial differentiators, and obviously we try to build around a culture of innovation through our what we call our culture stack, which also then lends itself to this kind of innovation and trying to build high-performing teams for our customers.
Yeah, so. That's great. How do you define failure? Everybody defines, you're talking about fail fast. Some people, I think, hold on maybe too long, or maybe sometimes people don't hold on long enough before they feel the turn. And so as a company, when you talk about you fail fast, how do you define what the ultimate failure is so you know when to kind of course correct?
Right. So I think the important aspect is to what is success, right? And for somebody, if success is you finish the project in a month, that's a very bad outcome you're looking for. But if you're looking for, hey, we actually set out to solve a customer pain point, we always look for businesses a double impact where we are helping humanity in some limited way in our own within our own skill and capacity. So double impact businesses where, hey, you're profitable and you're helping people make their lives easier, better. That's why some of the industries that we touch on have a lot of that impact. Is very important. So that's definition of success. Now, failure is, hey, we wanted to solve this pain point and we took an initial guesstimate of this is how we could solve it, but then we iterate on that idea in a lean manner. There's a lot of books on lean and others, and we say, oh well, we tried this, they did not like it, here's the feedback. One aspect is, you don't read too much into it and say this was a disaster, it was a big, what was the learning from it very quickly, have a short learning cycle, and then rinse and repeat iteratively till you get to a resonance or a custom product market fit. There's a balance. I've seen a lot of people in my career who either stick to failure too long, oh my God, and they get into this state of fear where they don't want to make any changes because it'll upset somebody. And on the other side, people may lean in too much into failure, and it can also be a very bad experience, can be a great teacher or a bad teacher, depending on what you want to learn from it. So it's very important to learn the right things and focus on those. And that comes through practice and outcome-based. Hey, we thought we learned this, but actually it was something else. We should have been reflective. Sometimes you need to go 2 or 3 layers deeper before you get to the right insight.
Yeah. I think the word failure has so many negative vibes around it, but really I think if you're doing business if you're doing it the right way and you're putting your 150% into everything you do, then you're failing at least at something small every single day. You're figuring out from my perspective, you're figuring out a better way to do something, a more effective way to do something. You're getting more feedback from your clients, from your consumers, and you are making these small little shifts of growth in your business. So there's kind of like in it, positive micro you can call them failures every single day, but I like to call them learning lessons,
Sure.
because, if you make a mistake, I always look at a mistake, especially if there's like a big mistake, it's just a really expensive seminar that taught you X, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when you look at lessons learned, I remember when I was in commercial real estate, the guy that was running our office had an agent in our office, that I may be getting some of the story wrong, but not really, not much. Um, Everything he had listed, he closed, and so he called. I think it was the CEO of the company at the time, or the owner, I can't remember. And he was like bragging about the kid, and what the response was, if he's closing everything that he listed, he's not working hard enough. He's
Like
got
that.
more,
Yeah.
because you can't. Nothing's perfect, and
Yeah.
so when you look at some of the lessons, maybe the biggest lesson that you've learned to date as you've started this company or maybe other companies, what was that expensive seminar lesson that you learned?
There are many, but I think the most important, given our business is heavily driven by talent, right? I mean, software still, thankfully, is done by people who think intelligently, and we can come to the risk of AI later. But it has been to be able to identify the right kind of people in the right roles, and being able to either course correct their role quickly, and not let that linger too long, or maybe they're not a fit in the whole organization, um, is another important thing. So making sure you have the right people in the right roles is a very hard job. When I started, I'm an engineer by trade. I love computer science and a programming geek for a long time. But as you start getting responsible for other families and other team members, you really know you want to make sure your people who are doing a great job don't get pulled down or dragged by people who are either not in the right role or really not the right fit because of competency, other or any other issues that are sometimes even beyond competency. So the
Yeah.
biggest learning lesson is make sure the teams are aligned and make the alignment as quickly as possible, because it tends to create a cascading effect of negativity or failure in outcomes, which is ultimately what you're measured for. So
Toxic people can take down a business very,
yeah.
very fast.
Yep. Yep.
And a lot of them, a lot of companies get um, have people stay too long
Yes.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that can be a big mistake. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about software development. Everybody seems to want to, not everybody, but everybody seems to have a great idea and wants to create a piece of software. With technology today, AI, VR, we could go on and on about that. It's almost like by the time you have the idea, by the time something is developed, we're already, it's already, kind of, not completely obsolete, but, closer to being a commodity than maybe people thought. It's hard to keep up and stay ahead. And so how do you deal with that as a company, right? Say, hey, it's going to cost you X amount of tens or hundreds of thousands to build this software. And then, if the company doesn't act on it, by the time they go to use it, maybe it's, there's something better out there. So how do you deal with that as a development company?
So I think it really needs to ask the why, right? I think the why and when and timing, everything is really important when you're trying to embark on something like that. If you have an idea when you're taking your shower in the morning, which seems to be a very productive time for new
Yeah.
thought process.
Well, it's a very meditative time for people,
Yes,
right? Where
it is.
you stop. There's not really much you can do other than just be there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
So
find I get some of my best ideas in the shower. Yeah.
yes. So the key is to validate, right? So because that'll define your North Star for the company. So
Yeah.
if you're really trying to solve, let's say in healthcare, you're trying to solve a specific problem around social determinant of health, or you're doing as long as the problem exists, how you get there has many paths, and validating the solution along the way. If you're solving that problem, yes, technologies will change, new things will come in place. You may have to pivot your business a few times till you get the right product market fit. But as long as the problem is valid and it's just not an inconvenience, and you can say, hey, you know, I'm inventing a slightly better pen, and what exists is good enough, and the delta isn't worth paying the extra dollars for. uh, those are some of the considerations. I think what I'm trying to say is ask the right questions, think about the timing, validate it, and you can do that in quick successions. If you have an idea and you're an entrepreneur, you know how to execute on. Hey, I'm going to talk to a couple of people who I think are my ideal customers and get some feedback. And then based on that feedback, again, you don't need to do a massive industry research. You can do your own research. There's so many tools, from Google to AI to help you formulate what you're trying to do for brainstorming. Then go try it out with what we call an MVP. Is a small, before you build your Lamborghini or something, just start with I don't want to diss any brand, but let's something rudimentary, right? Whether it's a basic four wheels and a and a small engine. So I think ideating, iterating, and also validating constantly your idea will help you minimize that mistake. And as long as you stay true to the problem you set out to solve, if the problem is, if you're just saying, "Yeah, I think this would make me a ton of money," and those are fleeting. I think those are not long-term sustainable businesses. You really need to be out there to solve a true, meaningful, impactful problem for mostly it's other human beings at this point. So if you have that in mind and that's your North Star, you're not going to go wrong. You're going to find a way to get there eventually, even if the technology landscape changes and there's these big shifts. You will have to pivot and be aware of them. It doesn't go away, but there are ways to mitigate some of those risks as you develop the strategy. So.
Well, and again, talking about, for example, asking the right questions, which I think, was a through line of what you were talking about. You do a lot of things from AI development, enterprise software, SaaS development. I mean, the list goes on and on. People can check out your website, Taazaa.com. But I want to talk about AI development right now, because I interviewed someone this week about AI, and I said, how long till the AI voice that we're talking to sounds like a real human being? They said a couple months. So, what type of AI development should companies be thinking about? The person I talked to was about, a customer experience and things of that nature. How should people be thinking about AI within their companies today?
I think you need to change there's going to be a little bit of a mind shift there, right? So we are used to doing things a certain way. Think about, I think fundamentally you need to think about, is this the best way to do it, or is there a different approach to solving this? I mean, there's a lot of amazing case studies on how effective customer support was handled by AI in many cases, and it has helped many companies transform their customer support, customer satisfaction scores, also reduce stress for their team. It has disruptive components to it. How do you retrain the people into doing something that they would love? I think human beings ultimately realize it is going to be disruptive, but hopefully we are doing better things and our quality of life improves. So I think number one, think about the processes, whether it is each process within the company. Is this even, there are companies that are challenging. Do we even need HRMS systems like Workday? Do we need CRMs like Salesforce? And it's reflecting on their revenue statements because people are starting to think very differently on how to approach these problems in a different way, which is more humanistic, because now you're achieving more natural conversation. I mean, if you look at the evolution of the interface with a human-machine interface, it started with the command prompt, which is very esoteric. Then it started going towards UI with Windows and Macs being able to do point and click. It went to web-based with the SaaS companies. It's now evolving to that point where at one point I said it's not that I said it, but I said the best user interface or the UX experience is where that whole distinction completely disappears.
Yeah.
So if I'm just like I'm talking to you, John, I think I could talk to a computer. I could type to a computer. I could be walking and say, hey, set up a meeting with somebody. And so there's going to be a lot of evolution on, we are doing a lot of R&D within our own company on how the future of our team members should be, right? What are the things that are not at all value add? How do we get rid of those? I mean, do they need to log into 3 systems to log their time, update their tasks? Those are not at all value add. They're necessary for tracking, but they're not value adds. They should be focusing on their most creative, true raw power. So what I'm trying to do is make them the quarterback and use AI to allow them to get to the goalpost. So that's how I would be thinking about AI, is how do you really transform your employee experience to the next level, your customer experience to the next level, and really simplify things, because the amount of data we deal with as human beings today, and I was having a very philosophical conversation with my teen. He's like, are humans really designed to sit in front of a computer replying to emails all day and chat messages all day? Is that what our future looks like? Can't we just go and enjoy nature? And he was just trying to get out of homework. But generally speaking, the question behooves us that the amount of data we are taking in these days can be delegated, and our lives have gotten infinitely complex with, hey, you missed my message on Teams, I sent you an SMS, there's an email, there's a lot of complexity. Can some of this be simplified by AI so you can really focus on where you are best? I think initially it'll become an enabler for the teams. At some point, we'll have to think a little bit more as it gets more intelligent. How does it complement us? How do human machine collaborations really work 2 to 5 years from now in a way that's still protecting us as a species, sort of thing. So
lots there to continue the conversation on that for sure. Who's your ideal client, Yasir?
Ideally, ideally a mid-market company which has a faster decision making and innovation engine, and they want to either build new products, or even extend or solve some of their existing problems and challenges, in whether they're in healthcare, manufacturing, real estate, and fintech. These are some of the primary industries that we focus on. We do work with larger enterprises and Fortune 500s, but the decision making there is very challenging. So we try to focus on some people in the mid market who have their funds and resources and are open to moving fast and innovating. So
yeah, it's great. All right, quick speed round. That's great. A book that's had a big impact on you, Yasir?
I think Homo Sapiens and A History of Everything. Those really started opening my eyes to the world. So
yeah, those
in a different way.
Yeah. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Wow. So, always be learning.
Yeah. The last question, finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to make a fast decision and bounce back from failing fast is?
Have the right mindset and the right set of question tool frames that you have to navigate that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that completes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yasir, this was great. I appreciated your time. I'm a business coach. I work with, successful people who are stuck. I get them unstuck. I love this podcast because I get to have guests like you that can share your wisdom and guidance on how to get unstuck. And you did that talking about how, different software developments can do that, and ways companies can look at, and they can look at ways that they can use software development within their company. They can find more about that Think Community at Taazaa, TAAZAA.com. And I just want to extract one thing that's really important, is because software development, what you're creating, making sure it's working, failing fast. To me, and one of the things that I talk a lot about on the show, a lot about with my coaching clients, ask the right questions to yourself, to your clients, to the consumers, to the people buying, to the people listening, to the people giving you feedback. Knowing the right questions will get you the right answers. Yep. So I appreciate your insights. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to Yasir, Taazaa.com. If you want to talk about any coaching, business coaching, you can reach me at JonDwoskin.com. Yasir, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure talking to you and meeting you.
Thanks.